What's up guys, my name is Dale from Creator Pro website, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful Parallax website. Okay, so this tutorial is going to be step by step and super easy to follow. But before we begin, I want to mention 3 things that we're going to be needing. Okay, so the first thing we need is a domain name. And a domain is something that you type into the top of your web browser to get to your website. So an example would be yourdomain.com. And this is going to cost about $5. Now the second thing we're going to need is web hosting. Now in order to actually own your own website and have a professional website, you need web hosting. Web hosting is basically just renting space on the internet to store your pictures, your text, your videos, and all your other media, and then go live for the rest of the world to see. So if you wanted to do a free website to try and get around this, well, you're going to have some limitations, which are: you will not own your own domain name. It will be something like yourdomain.wix.com or .squarespace.com, or whoever is hosting this website for you. You also can't upload new themes. You're only stuck to their limited options. So that means less customization. You also can't upload plugins to help with the functionality of your website. You also can't monetize your website with ads. And lastly, you won't have 24/7 customer support, which can really come in handy. So this is why I recommend web hosting. And don't worry, I have a special discount code here at Creator Pro website where you can get web hosting and a domain for way cheap. Okay, so the third and final thing that we're going to need to create this website is called WordPress. And WordPress is 100% free. WordPress is just what allows us to actually design this website visually. It handles all the code for you, so you never have to touch any coding. Okay, so with all of that said, let's go ahead and get this tutorial started. So step number 1 is to get a domain name and a web hosting plan. So for all my domains and hosting plans, I use HostGator because they're fast and reliable and their customer service is outstanding. And I will not promote anything that I haven't tried for at least a year or more. And I've been using HostGator for several years now. So to get a domain name and hosting, just click on the very first link in the description. Or you can just go on over to your web browser and type in createaprowebsite.com/hosting. And this will take you to a special co-branded landing page that I have with HostGator where my viewers can get a huge discount on their domains and hosting plans. So you will see that there's a hatchling, a baby, and a business plan. We're just going to be going with the hatchling plan because if you just need one domain and you just want to get everything set up for your website, this is really all you need. Now, if you know that you want to own several different domain names, then go ahead and get the baby plan because you have unlimited domains that you can add to that one hosting package. And then if you plan on making a ton of money with your website, then you can always upgrade to the business plan later on. But for now, we're just going to start with the hatchling plan. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Buy Now. Okay, so here is where you can register a new domain name. And if you already own a domain name, you can just click on this tab right here. But I want to get a brand new one. So I am just going to type in parallaxwebsite.com and then click enter. And there you go. You can see that this is available. If not, it would come up in red and tell you that it is not available. And right now it says that it's free because it's got this 1-year registration with new hosting plans, but this is only if you get the 12-month hosting plan, which I do recommend. So let me go down and explain that to you. So if you go down to choose a hosting plan, you'll see that we're set to 36 months at the billing cycle. And this is actually going to be your biggest discount. So this is only $271 a month and it goes for 36 months. Now, if you just are starting out and maybe you just want to, see how it goes, dip your toes in the water, I just recommend getting the 1 month. And yes, you're paying a little bit more per month, but it's a pay-as-you-go type of plan. Now, the one thing that I recommend to everyone is that you're getting your domain name for 12 months anyway, and there's no shorter term for that on any hosting plan you go with. So if you get the 12 months hosting plan to match, at least then you can give it a good year's try. So that is actually my number 1 recommendation, and it's still 50% off. But let's just say you're just starting out, we're just going to go ahead and click the 1 month. So let's go back up a little bit. So we want to make sure that we've got our new domain name checked here, which we do, and ignore this price because that's actually going to be only $5 because of that special discount code that I mentioned. So we're going to scroll down and make sure that you have added domain privacy protection to your new domain. So this is checked automatically, and I highly recommend keeping that checked, because if not, you could get called by solicitors, asking to build your website, and it's super obnoxious. Trust me, I made this mistake the very first website I made, and I got called probably like 8 times a day for a month. And all hosting companies recommend this domain privacy, so I recommend getting that. So we're just going to scroll down and go back to choose a hosting plan, which again, we're on Hatchling and we're on the 1 month. So we're going to create a username. So I'm just going to do my name and then a security pin. And then scroll down, and here is where you can enter in your billing info. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick right now. And now we can move on to the add additional services section. So from here, you've already got a free SSL certificate included, which is just this little check mark up here that tells people that this website is safe and secure. So if you're going to be running an e-commerce store or anything like that on your website, this is highly recommended. And then you can just go ahead and uncheck protect your site from hackers and back up your hard work, because I've already got tutorials that tell you how to do things like that for free. So you don't need to include them in your package. As well as get a professional email. I also have a tutorial that shows you how to get an email like that. So it would be something like yourname@yourdomainname.com. So I'll go ahead and list that video in the description if that's something that you want to do. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go down and make sure that this coupon code says create a pro website, which it does. It's checked and validated already. So if it says anything else, just put that in. And this is my affiliate link. So I do get a little bit of commission off of this, which kind of helps fund these free website tutorials that I'm doing, and it saves you a lot of money in the process. So it's a win-win for both. But if you don't like me and you don't want to use it for whatever reason, that's okay, but I guarantee you will not be able to find a better deal on the internet. I physically met with HostGator and worked out this special discount for all of my viewers. Okay, so let's get back to it. So moving down, you can see that our domain name was $18, but now it's only $5. And then our 1 month of hosting was $10.95, and it's now $7.67. But if you got 12 months or 36 months, this will be even cheaper. It'll be something like $2. And then the add-on is just the domain privacy protection. So all in all, you're set up for around $27. So I'm just going to scroll down and agree to the terms, and then just click Checkout Now. Cool. So now HostGator is setting up your account. So just go ahead and give that a minute or two. Okay, so now we're inside the customer portal for your hosting account. And this is also called your cPanel. And this brings us to step number 2, which is to install WordPress. And we're going to do this in just a few simple clicks. So let me show you how to do that right now. Okay, so over here on the left, you'll see this little button that says Marketplace. Just click on that. And then scroll all the way to the bottom until you see this big blue button that says one-click installs. And just go ahead and click on that. And then on the left, you'll see Site Builder and CMS. So this is what you want to click on. And then you'll just see WordPress right here in the middle. And again, that's free. So we're just going to go ahead and click on that. And from here, you can just select your domain name that you want to install WordPress to. So in this case, I've just got the one. And then leave this as directory and then just click Next. Now just give your website a title, and don't worry, you can always change this later. Now admin user, I just do my name, and then my first name, last name, and then the email. And I just use the same one that I signed up for HostGator with. Now just agree to the terms, and then click Install. Cool, now WordPress is installing, and this should only take a minute. Just like that, it's already done. Now, from here, the most important thing is to save this information right here by copying it and pasting it somewhere in notes or a Word document on your computer, because you're going to want to save this ridiculous password here in order to actually log in to WordPress. And don't worry, I'm going to show you how to change that password. Okay, so instead of logging in by clicking on this little yellow button here, I'm going to show you the real way that you should get used to signing into your WordPress for your domain. Because this little yellow button is going to go away once you actually publish your website, and you may need to come back to your website later to make changes. So to get to your website, just go up to a new browser window, type in your new domain name. In my case, it was parallaxwebsite.com. And then I'm just going to do /wp-admin. And this is the way that you should always get used to signing into your website. And then just click enter. And now you're going to be taken to this page because HostGator has to take your new domain name and send it out to the entire world to let everyone know that it exists. And this process can take as quickly as about 20 minutes, and it says it could take up to 24 hours, but I've never actually had it take that long. So take a 20 to 30 minute break and come back and check on your website. And you can do that again by typing in yourdomainname.com/wp-admin. And once you're taken to a page that looks like this, that means that your website is ready to go. Okay, so we're back and we're going to go ahead and check on our website. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the top and just type in my domain name /wp-admin. And now I'm on this page, which means it's all working. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. So I'm going to use my name, and then I'm going to paste that ridiculous password that we saved from earlier. And then just click login. Okay, so here we are inside the WordPress dashboard, and it looks a little crazy with all this stuff going on here. So let's go ahead and just click the X on everything that you see to clean it up. Okay, that's a lot better looking. So now I'm going to go ahead and change that ridiculous password to a custom password. So I'm just going to go over to users and then go over to all users. Now I'm just going to click on my name. And then I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom until you see new password. And I'm just going to click on generate password and delete that crazy one that it tried to suggest. And I'm going to create a new one and try to make it something that you're going to remember. So now I'm just going to click on update profile. And there we go. Now my password for WordPress is changed. Okay, so step number 3 is to activate a new theme. And a theme just determines the overall style of your website, and then you can customize even further. So the theme that we're going to be using is called Astra, and Astra is super clean and very easy to use. So let me show you how to get it. So to install and activate a new theme, we're just going to go over to Appearance over here on the left, and then click on Themes. And now you can see that the active theme is this 2019 theme. So if you just go up here, and I'm just going to click on Visit Site in a new window, I'm going to show you what that 2019 looks like. So here it is, super basic, really boring looking, not sexy by any means. So I'm going to X out of that, and we're going to go get a new theme, and then we're going to be customizing it. So I'm just going to scroll down and then click on Add New Theme. And then over here in the search bar, I'm just going to type in Astra. And then you'll see the Astra theme right here. So just go ahead and click on Install. Cool, now just click on Activate. And now Astra has been activated. So if we scroll down, you'll see this little message that's asking if you want to use a starter site template. And yes, we are going to be using one, but we're going to be customizing it much further. And I'm going to be giving you a personal one that I created myself. So let's just go ahead and click on Get Started. Cool, and now it's going to ask you to select a page builder. And all of these are great, but Elementor is by far my favorite. So we're going to go ahead and click on the Elementor button and then just click on Next. And Elementor is just a drag and drop page builder that you can use to customize all the text, the fonts, the images, and so on visually so that you don't have to worry about coding or anything like that. Okay, so now that's ready to go. And we're going to be selecting a template to start with. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the Free tab. And there's a bunch of awesome templates in here, and you're welcome to try some of them out. But the one that we're going to be starting with for this website is going to be the Sierra Nature one. So you can just preview that by clicking on the preview button. And here's kind of what it looks like. And you can see a little bit of the resemblance to the website I showed you in the beginning, which is the one that we're going to be creating off of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over to Import Site and just give that a minute to load. Cool, and now it's all done. So now we're just going to click on View Site. Awesome, so I'm just going to go ahead and close out of all these other panels up here. Just want to keep everything clean. So now you can see this is the same website that we just previewed. Okay, so step number 4 is to customize your website. So I'm going to be showing you how to use Elementor Page Builder to drag and drop and visually build your website to anything that you want. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so up at the top, you'll see this button that says Edit with Elementor. So just hover over that and click on it. And this will now open up the Elementor Page Builder. And this little notification will pop up. You can just click Got It to exit out of that. So as you can see, we're now in the editing portion of Elementor. And if I hover over these, I can actually edit all these individual widgets. But first, before we actually start building our website, we're going to delete the whole thing. Yes, you heard me right. We're going to delete the whole thing. This is because I'm going to give you a Parallax template that I built, so all of the hard work is done for you. So let's just go ahead and exit out of every single section. Cool. So once you've done that, you'll see this little button here that says Add Template, and it looks like a little folder. Just go ahead and click on that, and then just go over to My Templates, and we're going to click on this button right here that says Import Template. Now, in the description of this video, you will see a link that says Website Templates and Follow Along Images. Go ahead and click that link to download that folder, because that folder contains the website template that we want to upload. So now just click on Select File, and I'm just going to go to my desktop because that's where I put the folder. So you can see I've got the follow along images as well as the Parallax website templates. So I'm just going to select the Parallax website templates and then select the Create a Pro website Parallax homepage, and then just click on Open. Cool, so now you can see that just popped up here, and we're going to go up to that Import Template button one more time, and then go to Select File, and then grab the footer, because we're going to be replacing the footer that came with that website. So now just click on Open, and there we go. Now we've got our home page and our footer in here. So on the home page one, you'll see this little green Insert button. Just go ahead and click on that. And then it'll ask if you want to import the document settings, so just click on Yes. Cool, so this is the actual template that we're going to be working with. As you can see, it already looks a lot like the one that I showed you in the very beginning of this video, only it's missing all of its images. So I am going to show you how to use Elementor now. So first things first, you've got a section, which is this whole full width box. As you can see, there's kind of a blue rim that goes around the whole thing. This is called a section. And then inside of sections, you have columns, which are these gray ones right here with the dotted lines. And then inside of columns, you've got widgets, which are these actual individual texts and buttons and so on. So you put widgets inside of columns, and columns go inside of sections. And you can create 2 columns by going right-clicking on the column and then duplicating. And that will duplicate everything that was inside of that gray column, which looks funny, so I'm going to go ahead and Control-Z that. Control-Z will undo anything. And then if you actually want to edit any of these widgets, you just click on the little pencil icon for whichever one that you want to edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this one. And it'll tell me that I can right-click as well. Just click Got It. And here on the left, you can edit the text, or you can actually just triple-click and type on the screen. So type anything. So it's as easy as that. Or you can do it over here on the left, which I actually prefer more. So I'm going to keep that as how to create a. And you can also left align it, right align it, or put it back in the middle. And now I'm going to edit the big text here so I can show you how to change fonts and font colors and sizes. So I'm just going to click on that little pencil icon for the Parallax website part. And again, change the text here. And if you want to change the font and the color, just go up to the Style tab. and then you'll see text color. So you can just click on that box, and you can, drag this around and change the color however you want. But generally, white and black are pretty good text colors to go with. So I'm going to stick to white. And then under typography, if you just check this little pencil icon, you can change the font. So if you go to family, you can search for any font you want in the search bar, or you can just kind of scroll down the list and select anything. So I'll just select this crazy looking one so you can see. And these are Google fonts, and Google Fonts has a ton of fonts. So feel free to play around in those. So I'm going to Control Z to go back to my main font. And then you can change the size by just dragging this little size slider up like this. But I'm going to keep it the way it was, so I'm going to Control Z because I like the way that I created it the first time. And if you go down, you can change a few other things like line height and the letter spacing if you want to really, compress them or space them out. And you can also add a shadow to the text, but I'm not going to get too far into that because we're going to be replacing this background and you're not going to see that shadow anyway. So let's go ahead and replace that background. So if you just go up to the whole section here, which is what actually has the image inside of it, and click on the little 6 dots for the full section, you can now edit that whole section over here. So what I'm going to do is just go over to Style, and then I'm just going to click on Choose Image down here. So if you don't see this, it's probably because you're on a menu like this. All you need to do is just check the little paintbrush, and then you can actually put in your own image. So I'm going to click on Choose Image, and then underneath Upload Files, I'm just going to go to Select Files. And then I'm going to go back to my desktop and go to those follow along images. But these are stored wherever you downloaded that folder from the description. So now I am actually just going to copy everything inside this folder and actually open all of them. So just click on Open, and these are all going to load. Okay, so now these are all loaded. Everything from this image of this girl all the way to this image has all been the photos that I just now imported. Everything from this image and down is everything that actually came with that Sierra nature template that we started with. But you can actually just leave these in here. So now that I've got all my images imported, I'm going to select the one that I want to put as my background, which is this one of this girl in the pool. And it'll even say main section right here. So I'm just going to click on Insert Media. And now there is the girl in the pool. So there's also a background overlay on this. So if you just check this little background tab here and go to background overlay, you can see we've got this little color here, which you can change. And then the opacity is how dark or how light you want that to be. So if you drag it all the way up, like a 0.86, it's going to be very dark. Or if you drag it down, it's going to be close to the original image. But I'm going to Control Z because I think somewhere around a 0.5 is perfect. You can read the text and see the image. And if you want to actually make this entire section a little bit narrower, or even if you want to make it wider than it already is, I'll show you how to do that. So we're on the Edit section for this, and we're just going to go over to the Advanced tab. And then underneath padding, you'll see that we've got a value of 275 on the top. So if you want, you can actually hit the down arrow and kind of get everything to scrunch up towards the top like that. And that'll actually make the whole main section here narrower. Or again, you can just add value like that and it'll get wider. And if you want the bottom to come up by itself, you can see that we've got a whole box here with a little icon in it, which is a little down arrow. If you just click on that and then go to Advanced as well, you'll see that there is some space here for the top. And that's actually the top from this blue line to the actual icon. So if you want to decrease that value, that'll make the bottom come up as well. But I'm going to Control Z and put that back where it was. And this is actually the only section that you'll have to adjust the padding like that for the height. These other sections, so here, let me show you. If I just click on this section right here in the little 6 dots to edit it, and underneath the Layout tab, you'll see that we've got height, and it's set to minimum height. And then there's a little minimum height slider here. So if you just drag that up, that will increase the height, and then drag it down, and it will decrease the height. So all the other sections work like this. That beginning section is only like that because of these little buttons and widgets that we have on here. Okay, now before we move on to the next section, I also want to show you the motion effects. So if we just click on Update to save our work, and then we just click on Preview Changes, you can see the animations that pop up. So just like that, all these texts just kind of faded in. So you can see everything's kind of sliding in like that and animating. So now what we can do is change that. So I'm going to click the X, and if you just click on whatever widget you want, so let's just say like this main one, and then you go to the Advanced tab, and then you see motion effects down here, just click on that, and you can change the entrance animation. So right now it's set to a fade in, which I think is the cleanest looking one, but you can do some pretty crazy ones. Like there's a zoom in like that. There's also a bounce in. Some of these are, you know, pretty decent, and then some of them are just crazy, like rubber band. But yeah, feel free to play around with those, but I like just the regular fade in. And you can do that with any widget that you want, but I have already set up all of the animations for you if you want to just leave them the way they are. Okay, so let's move on. So you can change your quote here, and if you want to change the actual color of this background, again, just click on the 6 dots for this whole section, and then just go to Style, and then you can change the background type here, and this is just a color, or you can actually add an image here if you'd like. Oh, that reminds me, for this image, as you can see, the reason it is parallaxing like that, if you just click on the little 6 dots for this main section, and go to the style, you can see underneath the image there is the attachment right here, and it says fixed. So if you change that to scroll, the whole image is going to scroll up as you scroll down. But if you change it to fixed, it stays in one place, which is actually what makes this Parallax website a Parallax website. So if you add an image and it's not staying put, then that is probably why. Okay, so let's go back. Again, you can change the color for this, and then we'll scroll down, and we're going to replace this image for the About Me. So if you just click on the little pencil icon for this image, and then go over to Choose Image, and we're going to choose this girl sitting here like this. And as you can see over here, this image is actually vertical, rectangular, so it's taller than it is wide. Now if we insert it, it comes out square, and the reason is because the image size over here I have automatically set to custom, and I have it set to 500 pixels by 500 pixels. Now if you go to large or full, this is what it would actually look like, and that's the whole image there, which looks kind of crazy. So if you want to kind of crop your images to make them more of a square, just go to custom and then type in a value of 500 by 500, and then just click on apply, and that will apply it. And there's text over here that you can change just by clicking on the little widget, and you can edit the text inside of this text editor. So it's a little different than how we edited the heading. The box to actually change the text looks a little different, but it's the same process. All you have to do is just delete, and you can, you know, type in here however much you want. But I'm going to Control Z. And then this piece right here is actually a divider. So if you just click on the little pencil icon, you can change the actual weight of it. So this is how thick the line is. So if you bring it up, it's super thick, and down is super thin. I like the super thin, it's kind of more elegant looking. And you can also change the width to make it longer. And you can also make it center aligned or right aligned. But in this case, we want it left aligned. So I'm going to Control Z. And then the gap. So this is how much space is actually around the divider. So right now it's set to 25. You can bring that way down or way up. But somewhere in the middle is looking pretty good. And if you wanted to add a background to this section, you could just by clicking on the 6 dots and changing the background for this section. So scrolling down, we've got a little bit of a white to gray transition here, just to kind of indicate a new services section. So if you want, you can actually edit the text the same way, or if you want to edit these icons, you just click on the little edit icon button here, and that'll take you to this little icon box. So just click on the icon library button right here. And you can select any one of these icons that you want. And there are tons of them in here, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It's crazy. But if you want, instead of actually scrolling through all of them, you can just search for whatever you want. So if I wanted a camera, we've got this camera and kind of this like Instagram looking camera. And you can even search for social plugins. So like Instagram comes up with an Instagram icon. You can search for pretty much anything. But I like the YouTube button right here. And I also have this set to where you hover over it and it grows a little bit and gets a little bit darker. So if you want to change that, you just go to Style. And then you can see we've got Icon. We're on the Normal tab, which is just what it looks like normally. And you can change the size by dragging the size up, the spacing underneath it, or you can actually rotate it, which is pretty cool. But if you go over to the Hover tab, you can now change what it looks like when you hover. So I just have it set to be a little bit darker, but it's YouTube. Maybe I want it to be red. So now when I hover over it, it turns red, which is pretty cool. And you can change the animation as well. And these are pretty much the same animations from what I showed you earlier. So if you hover over, it kind of pops like that. But I'm going to stick to grow. And of course, you can change the actual title and the description right here. And you can do that for each one of these. Okay, moving on. So now we're in the actual gallery section, which we've just got this big white line here. But that's because we don't actually have any images in our gallery widget. So we've got our text, our divider line, and then our gallery widget. So let's click on the little edit icon for the gallery widget. And over here on the left, you'll see Add Images. So I'm just going to click on that. And then I'm going to select a few images for it. So I'm going to go with this one, and the Golden Gate. So those three. And you'll actually see there's Gallery 3, Gallery 2, and Gallery 1. You can see them right here. So I'm going to make sure I have all those. And then just click on Create a New Gallery. And then you can actually reorder these. So this one will pop up all the way to the left, and this one will be all the way to the right, or you can just kind of drag them and drop them. But I like them the way they are, so I'm going to hit Insert Gallery. And there's all of our images. And if you actually click on one of these, it kind of pops up in this little light box with these arrows, and your visitors can scroll through all your pictures. Now the thing about these images is these are all the exact same size. So each one of these images is actually 700 pixels by 500 pixels. So if you had an image that wasn't that exact size, or maybe not the same ratio, then it's going to kind of throw off the look of your gallery. So let me show you that real quick. So if we just click on the little edit icon, I'll go to Add Images, and I'll just add one that doesn't match, like maybe this one. And then I'm just going to drag it randomly in the middle and click Insert Gallery. So now you can see it kind of breaks the whole thing because this image isn't the same size as all the others. So make sure that you're cropping your images that you're putting in here, which I will show you how to do in just a second. So I'm going to take that out. Okay, so to edit your images, we're just going to go up to a new window and type in fotor.com, which is fotor.com. And from here, just click on Edit a Photo. And this will open up the editor. So to edit a photo, you can just click on Open up here at the top, and we'll just select it from our computer. And I'll just select one at random. We'll just grab that one, just so I can show you. And over here on the left, you'll see Crop over here, and then you'll see Resize. So Crop will actually, get rid of some of the image. So if you just click on Crop, you can drag this up or down and crop the image however you want. Or you can actually just type in values. So you could just do 700 by 500, like that, and crop the image that way. And you just click on Apply to do that. Or you can resize the image. So if you just click on Resize, it'll ask you haven't saved your changes for the crop. We're just going to click Discard. And you can resize the image. So right now, 1500 by 1000. If you wanted it to be even smaller, like 500 by 333, you can just click Apply, and the image gets way smaller. And then you can just click on the Save button up here, and it will probably ask you to create a free account or sign in with Facebook, but it doesn't charge you anything. Okay, so I'm going to click on the X and just click leave. And now we're going to want to change the actual background for our gallery. So I'm going to click on the 6 dots for that section and go over to Style, and then go over to change the image here. And I'm going to grab the gallery sections right here. You can see gallery section. I've labeled them all for you. Click on Insert Media. And there we go. So now we've got this parallax image in the back behind our gallery. Okay, so now we can change our video. So if you just click on the little edit video icon over here, you can see this is coming from YouTube, and you can change to Vimeo, Dailymotion, or self-hosted, but YouTube works pretty well. And here's where you actually put in a YouTube link, but I'm just gonna leave it. I don't really have anything that I want to put here. This is kind of just the placeholder one. And if you don't want this section because maybe you don't have a video, you can just go ahead and click the X for that whole section. And then you can also play around with some of the features over here, whether you want it to autoplay or loop and so on. And if you want the video to actually be smaller than it is, or bigger maybe, if you want it full screen, if you just click on the little edit video icon again and just go up to advanced, you can see I've got 150 value padding on the right, which is over here, and then 150 on the left, which is over here. So if I did that with 250 and 250, the video gets smaller because it's kind of just scrunching the whole thing. Or if you want, you could just do 50 and 50, and the video gets much bigger. But I think 150 is a pretty good size on both the left and the right. And now let's change that image in the back. So edit section with the little 6 dots, style, choose an image, and we're gonna choose this one right here, which is the video section, and insert media. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. And if you actually want to change how the image is centered in here, because obviously it's cropped inside of this section, right now I'm on bottom center. You can change to center center and the image will move down a little bit, or top center and it'll move down even more. But honestly, it's not a huge difference either way. I mean, you could even just leave it at center center. And again, there is a background overlay on both this image and this image. So if you want to change that, you just select background overlay and you can change the opacity or the color. So scrolling down, we've got our articles. So let's change the images for these. So I'm going to click on the edit image icon, go to choose an image, and I'm going to select this guy right here. And these are all the same size, by the way, the 3 articles I have. So this one's 400 by 500 pixels, and so is this one and that one. So I'm going to choose article 1, insert media. Same with number 2, choose image, select this girl, insert media. And then this one we'll do choose image and choose this guy hiking. There we go. And if you close this little hide panel button here, you can actually get rid of that menu so you can kind of see what your website looks like in full screen. And as you can see, I've got like this kind of sand color border that pops up as you hover over each one of these. And that's just to kind of indicate that it is actually clickable, as well as the text kind of comes up with this light sandy color. So if you want this image to be clickable and actually take them to one of these articles that you've written, you can actually do that by clicking on the little edit image icon here, and you can see there's a link section. So you can actually put in a link to another page on your website that you've written. So if you had an article called Discover New Horizons, you would want to put that in here, as well as actually on the text. So if you click on the text, you can put the link here as well. You just delete the hashtag and paste your URL in here. And no matter which one they click on, it will take them to that article that you wrote. Okay, scrolling down, we are in our contact section now. So let's change the background. So if we go to edit section with these 6 dots, go to style, and then image, we're going to choose a good image for the contact section, which is this one. And you can see it says contact section. So insert media. There we go. And as you can see, we don't actually have our contact form, which we're going to fix, don't worry. But first, I'm going to show you how to change these little icons and the info that's on them. So if you just click on that little pencil icon, you can see we've got an icon list. And if you click on each one of these, you can change the icon like I showed you before by going to the icon library. And you can change the text here. So I just have it set to email@yourdomain.com, which is not an actual email. So please don't email that. The phone number, and then the actual address. And you can add new ones if you want. Maybe you want something else there, feel free. But if you go over to style, you can see the icon tab right here. If you just click on that, and you can change the color of the icons. So, maybe you want like a lime green sort of deal, or a blue, something like that. And you can change the hover icon as well. So, maybe I want it to be a little darker when you hover over each one. You can do that. And then the size as well. But kind of like just the way they were, around a 25. And same with the text. You can edit the text color, the hover, as well as the font. Okay, so before we actually move on to the contact form section of the tutorial, I want to edit this footer because this is not the footer that we want. So first what we're going to do is just click on Update to save our work. And I'm going to go up to this little hamburger looking icon up here and then click on Exit to Dashboard. Cool. So from here, just go back up to your website name up here at the top left and then go to Visit Site. And then on the Edit with Elementor button right here, you'll see Site Footer. So just click on Site Footer. And now we're editing just the footer. And the reason why this is just the footer is because this footer is displayed on every new page that you create for your website. So you don't edit it with the home page. But once again, I've made it super easy for you. So just go ahead and click X to delete that whole section, and then just click on the Add Template button right here. And then go to My Templates. And then you'll see Parallax Footer because we imported that earlier. And then just click on Insert. Cool, so that's actually the footer that we want, minus the image in the back, but it's much cleaner. You've got all of your social icons, a recap of your services here, and then your contact info, as well as a little trademark symbol, which you can edit all of this. So first, let's actually put in the image. So I'm going to click on Edit section, and then go to Style, and then choose an image. And I am just going to choose like the same one that we did for the video, maybe like this one. I don't actually have a footer image for you. It's okay to just use one of the others. So insert media, because as you can see, you can hardly see it in the background. Okay, so you can change these icons and their links just by clicking on this little pencil icon. And this is an icon list, just like I showed you for the contact form. So you can change the icons here, as well as the links that they go to. So right now this is going to my YouTube channel. Instagram is actually set going to my personal Instagram. And then Facebook is the Creator Pro website Facebook page, and so on. And you can change the style for that as well. So you can change the actual color and then the hover color. Right now it's just set to like this kind of reddish color. So you can change that right here. And then services, you can change these as well. It's the exact same thing. Just edit the icon list, and then same with the contact. And if you want to change this down here, this is just some simple heading text. So you can just, just regular text editor. And you can just change that right here. Or just type right on the screen. Okay, so now just click on Update. Okay, so step number 5 is to create a new contact form. So we're going to be setting up a contact form so that people can go to your website and email you right there on your homepage. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're just going to go up to the little hamburger symbol again, and then click on Exit to Dashboard. And we've actually already got this little plugin called WP Forms, and this is a contact form plugin, and it's already installed for you whenever you install WordPress. So I'm just going to go over to Add New to create a new form. And you can just put in your form's name here. So I'll just say Dale's contact form. But really doesn't matter. We're not going to be seeing that. And then you can start with a blank form, or we're just going to start with a simple contact form. So let's just click on that. Cool. So we've got their first and last name inputs here, email input, as well as message input. And in this list over here, you can actually drag any one of these in that you want. So let's say these numbers, you can just click on that and just drag it in underneath email. And you can get their phone number like that. So you can drag in any one of these you want. You can even create like a multiple choice right here. But I'm not going to go too far into that. I'm actually going to delete the number because we don't really need that. And then, so if you just go to name and you click on one of these sections, it'll take you to the field options for that one section. So you can change the name as well as, do you want first, middle, and last, or just the first name? And you can edit the field options for any one of these sections. But honestly, the contact form is pretty much ready to go just the way it is. So from here, I'm just going to go over to the settings tab over here. And then we're in the general tab, and in general you can actually change the submit button text right here, so you could change it to something like send if you want. And then over to the notifications tab, this is where you can actually edit the email address that you want these messages to go to. So right now inside these little curly brackets it says admin email, and this is a little special code that takes the email that you use to sign up for WordPress and it sends these messages there. Now, if you want it to be a different one, maybe you use, 2 different emails for whatever reason, all you have to do is just delete this and you can put in a new one. So I'll put in createaprowebsite@gmail.com, and now those messages will go there. And then down here is what actually shows up in the email whenever it gets sent to your Gmail. So the subject line that would pop up would say new entry from Dale's contact form, and then it'll have your website name here and so on. So now let's go on over to confirmation, and this is just the message that pops up whenever they actually send a message to you. So you can change it to go to a new page if you want like a whole confirmation page or a completely different URL. But I just like the general message, and then you can edit the message right here. Okay, so with all that said, let's go ahead and save that contact form up here at the top, and then we're just going to click on the X. And now you can see our contact form right here in the list. So you can actually delete these other 2 because we don't need those. But in order to actually get this contact form on our website, we're going to need to install another plugin for Elementor. So let's just go over to plugins down here and then go to add new. And then in the search box, just type in Elementor. And if you scroll down over here on the right, you'll see essential add-ons for Elementor. This is actually the plugins that we want to add because this plugin will add some special tools to our Elementor page builder editor. And one of them is a WordPress forms widget. So let's go ahead and install that and then activate it. Cool. So now all we need to do is just go up to our website and then click on Visit Site. And then click on Edit with Elementor, and then scroll all the way to the bottom, back to our contact section. And then over here on the left, we're going to search for a new widget. So if you don't see this, all you have to do is just click on this little Rubik's Cube looking symbol, and that'll get you there. So we'll search for a widget, and we're going to type in EA space WP. And this little EA WP forms here, this is what we're going to be dragging in. So let's drag that underneath Contact Me. And then we're just going to select a form over here in the drop down, and you'll see the contact form that you created. And there it is. So we actually want to get rid of the title. We don't really need Dale's contact form here, or whatever your name is. So we're going to hit this little icon here for show to hide it. And then you can change the actual color of these labels here, so they're a little dark against this background. So if you just go to Style, and then you can see we're underneath Form Container, so just click on that to close it. Go to Labels. You can change the text color for the labels. So I'm just going to do kind of like a dark gray or mid-gray, like that. And then you can also change the font there as well by clicking on Typography. And if you want to change the color and shape of the Submit button, you can do that as well by going to Submit button. And then you can change the background color right here, as well as the hover color. but I kind of like the default. It matches my button up at the top. And you can add a border to it by selecting border type and going to solid and just increasing the value like that. But I like it just the way it is. And you can even put it in the middle if you want. But I'm going to go back to the left. And then I'm just going to click on update. Okay, so step number 6 is to customize your header. So the header is that bar up at the top that has all of your buttons in it, as well as your logo in it. And I'm actually going to be showing you how to create a custom logo with no software, and it's completely free. You can do it in about 2 minutes. And I'm also going to show you how to change all those buttons and so on. So let's go ahead and edit the header. So I'm just going to go up to the little hamburger symbol and then go to exit to dashboard. And then once again, just go up to your website name and click on visit site. And then instead of clicking on edit with Elementor, we're going to be clicking on the customize button, because customize will allow us to edit just this header up at the top. So I'm going to click on that. Cool. So now you can see we've got these little pencil icons where we can edit these things. So if you want to edit your logo, you just click on this little button right here, and that will take you to where you can change your logo. So what we're going to do is make a new one. So to do that, we're just going to go up to a new tab, and we're going to type in logo maker without the e.com. And you can just exit out of this little tutorial because I'm going to show you how to use it. So up here in the search bar, what you can do is just search for anything that you want. So you could type in, actually you can just go over to the little browse all logos button here. And then you've got these categories like shapes. If you just click on shapes, you've just got hundreds of thousands. Like I don't think I've actually ever been to the end of one of these lists before. So there's endless opportunity there. So I'm actually going to type in X into the search bar because I kind of want like this cool X logo. So this is everything for X, which is kind of a hodgepodge, but you can see there's some X symbols in here. And there's one in particular, this one that I really liked, kind of like a paint splatter sort of, paintbrush sort of deal. So I kind of like that. And we're also just going to drag this over and add some text. So if you want to actually change the size, you can just click on a corner and resize it. And if you want to add text, just click on this little T right here. And I'm going to type in Parallax. And to change the color, all you have to do is just go to this little wheel over here, and you can drag around in the color. If you drag on the outside wheel, you can actually change the color, and then this is actually the saturation. So I'm going to actually do just like a black, just so I can see what I'm doing. And I'll scale this up a bit, and it's looking pretty good. I'll drag it down, and let's change the font. So I have this one selected. I'm going to go to the font category, and you've got like a bunch of cool ones in here, like fun and funky will give you like a whole bunch of just crazy looking ones. But if you go, I'm going to just go back to simple and modern because I want something kind of clean. And then I'm going to click on the font family, and I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go with this Archivo Black, like that. I'll scale this up a bit. And then I'm going to just drag this X over to the front like that, kind of move them around a little bit. Scale this down just a little bit. I don't know, something like that. It's good enough. The logo really doesn't need to be that important. It's just a memorable symbol for someone to relate to your website. So let's go ahead and make this white. So if we just select both of these like that by clicking and dragging, we'll change them both to white. And now you can't see them, but they're actually still there. This background back here is actually going to be transparent. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to click on the little save logo icon up here at the top right. And then from here, it's going to ask me if I want to pay. I'm going to say no thanks. I'll download the low resolution file. And it'll just say, you know, credit Logo Maker because they have this awesome free software for you. So I'm going to download that. And you can see it just hit my downloads, but I actually already have one included in the follow along images. So once you have your logo, just go back to your website and go to the change logo button right here. And I actually already uploaded it earlier whenever we imported all of our files, so it's right here. So I'm just going to click select, and it'll ask you to crop. I'm just going to skip cropping because it's white and we can't even see it right now anyway. And if you click skip cropping, it'll just keep the full width. So skip cropping. And now you can see our logo is up here and it's a little small. So if you just go down to logo width and kind of drag that up, you can make it really big. I think I'm going to do maybe something like that, maybe a little smaller, 140. Okay, so this next part is really, really important if you want this logo to actually stay here. It's kind of just a weird little thing I figured out with Astra that took me a while because my logo kept disappearing and I couldn't figure out why until I finally did. So this is very important. So if you just go to the back button, and then you go to transparent header, which is what we're using right now. We're using a fully transparent header. And then you'll see this little checkbox that says different logo for transparent header, question mark. We want that to be unchecked because we want to use this same logo for our transparent header. So make sure that that is unchecked if you want your logo to always be there. So now we're just going to hit the back button and then just go back to site identity. And if we scroll down, you will see the site title and the tagline. So you can change the website title whenever you want, which you can see up here. And if you hover over it, this little box appears. So you can change your website title anytime up here in this box. Or the tagline you can change as well. And you kind of want the tagline to contain a helpful keyword that has something to do with your website, because Google recognizes keywords inside of the site title and the tagline. So I would want something like how to make a beautiful Parallax website. Something like that. And now just because I have Parallax website and Parallax website here in both the tagline and the site title, Google will pick up on the fact that I've got Parallax website in both, and it will maybe help me rank higher if I actually wanted to spend the time growing this website. But these are kind of some advanced lessons, so I'm not going to go too much further into that. Just a little helpful tip. Okay, so now the site icon. The site icon is this little guy up here, and this is actually also called a favicon. And right now it's set to the HostGator symbol, and we want to make sure that it is set to our own symbol. So let's go make one. So we're going to go over to Logo Maker again, and I'm just going to take that text and that logo from earlier and turn them black so we can see them. And then I'm going to delete this text by hitting backspace, and I'm going to grab this logo and then just scale it up like that and drag it towards the middle. And then I'm just going to hit Save Logo. And then no thanks, I'll download the low resolution file because it's plenty enough. And then that will hit your downloads. But I've already actually got it downloaded in the follow along images, so I'm going to use that one. So I'm going to go back to site icon and then go to select site icon. And then I'm going to go to upload files, select files, and then I'm going to grab the favicon right here and then just click open. Cool. So now I'm going to hit select, and I'll just kind of drag this little cropping square up, something like that. It's fine. And then crop image, because it has to be a square. And now you can see that X is now up as our favicon or site icon. And then make sure you hit publish to save your work. Okay, so now let me show you how to change this button over here. So if you just click on the button, sorry, not the button, let's go back actually, and it will go to buttons right here, and then you'll see theme button. Underneath theme button, this is where you can change the look of this button. So you can change the background color or the hover color if you want. And then the radius is actually how circular or how square it is. So if you just put a 0 in there, it'll actually be a square, like that. But I kind of like the circle, so I'm going to just put back in 100. And then you can also change the text color and the text hover color as well. And if you actually want to change the text of the button, I'll show you how to do that. I'm not sure why it's not in this menu, but I'm going to go back and then go back one more time, and then just go over to layout, and then go to header, and then just go to primary header. Weird that it's in this menu, but that's where it is. So you can see we've got button text and it says take action. And sometimes there's a little pencil icon up here where you can actually just click this one and that'll take you to where you can edit the button. But anyway, this is where you can find it. So I can change that to build one, like build a Parallax website, like that. And then there's also a link. So if you want the button to actually go to a certain spot on your website or a totally different website, you can put the URL right here in button link. And then if you also want to customize the colors again because you weren't happy with it the first time, you can just click on customize button style there, and that will take you to the theme button and then back to where the colors are. Okay, so now we want to change our actual menu up here because this is not the one that we want to use. So I'm just going to go back and then back one more time, and then go down to menus, and then click on menu. And now you can see these are all the same items that are up here. So we're going to click on add items, and what we want to do is just delete all of these because we're going to create a new one from scratch. So just delete every single one of these. And once you've done that, you can see over here in this other menu that we're in the pages category, and pages are all these pages that were automatically created for us in WordPress when we signed up for that Sierra Nature template. So we actually want to create custom links because these links are going to be jump buttons that will jump to different parts of this one page design. So for instance, we'll do about over here in the link text, and then in the URL, we're just going to do hashtag about. And this is actually going to jump to some anchors that I already set up in that template that I gave you for Elementor, and it'll read that that's the about section and it will just jump to it. So just make sure you have hashtag and then whatever the actual link you want it to be. So this one's about. So add to menu, and then we'll do link text services, and then hashtag services, and then add to menu. And then we'll be doing gallery, and then hashtag gallery, add to menu. We'll also do articles, hashtag articles, add to menu, and we're going to do contact, and then hashtag contact, and then add to menu. There we go. So now once you've got all of those added, I will show you how it works. So if we just go to hide controls down here at the bottom left to get that menu out of the way, you can now click on any one of these and it will jump to that section. So services jumps to services, and this is because I have anchors set up on each of these sections. So I will show you how that works right now. So I'm going to open back up my controls and go to publish, just to save my work, and now I'm going to click on the X, and then go over to edit with Elementor. Cool, so now I'm going to scroll down and I'll show you how this is set up. So for this whole About Me section, I'm going to click on the 6 dots for that section, and then go over to the Advanced tab, and then underneath CSS ID, you can see that I've already wrote About, and then I did the same thing for services. So if we go to Advanced, CSS ID says services. So whatever this is called, as long as your link up there has hashtag whatever the same name is as this, it will jump to that section. And I have it set for the main section so that it lines up perfectly with the top of the screen, just like that, whenever you jump to it. Okay, so for step number 7, I'm going to show you how to add and edit a new page. Just in case you need a new page outside of this one page design for whatever reason. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go up to the little hamburger symbol and click on Exit to Dashboard. And over here on the left, you'll see the Pages button, and underneath you'll see All Pages and Add New. If you just go over to All Pages, here is where you'll be able to see all of your existing pages. And these were all created whenever we installed that template, the Sierra Nature template. These all came with it. So you can actually just edit these if you want. So if you just go to whatever page and then click on Edit with Elementor, you can edit it. So this is a whole separate About Us page, and it's already pretty sweet. I mean, you can just change everything you want, but I say if you can start with the foundation built for you and just drag and drop and replace all of your info, that's the way to go. It's so much easier than starting from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to go back and go to Exit to Dashboard. Now, if you wanted to create a new page from scratch, then all you need to do is just go to the Pages over here on the left and click on Add New. And then I'm just going to hit this little X. And here is where you can edit inside of WordPress. So you could just add a title right here, like that. And then you can start typing down below. And if you click on this little plus icon over here, you can add things like images or a gallery and a few other things. And this is inside of the basic WordPress editor. Now, if you did want to edit using Elementor, before you actually click the Edit with Elementor button, you'd want to go over to the Page Attributes. And from here, you'll see Template is set to Default Template. You just want to change that to Elementor Full Width. So now, if you just click on Edit with Elementor, you can now edit a blank document. Sorry, a blank page, that is. And you can just click here on the plus icon and just select whatever structure you want. So if you want 3 columns, 2 columns, or 1, you can do that. So I'll just select 2. And you can drag widgets inside of these, the same as you edited the home page. So that is how to add and edit your own pages. Okay, so step number 8 is to edit for mobile and tablet. So we want to make sure that your website looks great on any device because over 52% of global online traffic is done on a mobile device. So that means more people are searching the web on their phones than they actually are on their desktops. But it's almost 50-50, so we want to make sure it looks good on both. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll back up, and if you just go down to this little menu over here, you'll see this little computer symbol, and it says responsive mode. So just click on that, and then you can just select tablet or mobile. So in this case, I'll just select mobile. And as you can see, I've already set it up for you to where it works pretty well automatically. Everything looks like it's working pretty good, but if anything looks too big or too scrunched or something like that, whatever changes you make on this menu will only affect the mobile version. So as long as this little button here on any setting that you see is checked on the mobile symbol like that, then that means that anything that you do here will not affect your desktop version. So let me show you. So I'm going to purposely break something. So I'm just going to go to advanced and I'm just going to add, I don't know, 300, like a ridiculous amount of padding. So as you can see, my website is now broken. And you can see there's a little bit of text on the side here. So if anything looks like that, if you go back to the desktop view, it looks totally fine. But if we go back to mobile, still broken. So whatever changes you make here, like going back to 0, it fixes on just the mobile menu. Except for if you reorder things. So I took this column, and if I put it underneath here, now that actually is going to change on both. So if I just go back to the desktop mode, now you can see it's backwards. So other than reordering columns, everything else can be edited on separate menus. So I'm just going to drag that back. And then you can do the exact same thing for tablet as well. And it'll give you this kind of little tablet simulation, and you can edit everything on here just the same way. But again, I've already set this whole website up to be 100% responsive already, so you really shouldn't need to do much to it. Okay, so step number 9 is to publish your website. So now we want to make sure that your new website is going to be live for the whole world to see. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that this little update button is grayed out, meaning that all of our changes are saved. And I'm going to go up to the little hamburger symbol, and I'm going to go to Exit to Dashboard. And then there's a little message here that says your site is currently displaying a coming soon page. Once you're ready to launch your site, click here. So all you have to do is just click here. And boom, just like that, you'll get a little congratulations message down here that says your site is now live. Click here to view it. And here is our new finished website, and it's looking awesome. Everything's functioning properly. All the images are there. It looks great. And of course, our buttons are all working, which is even better. Alright guys, so that was how to create a beautiful Parallax website. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want more web design tutorials like this, or you want web design tips and tricks, or maybe you want to install Google Analytics to track the viewers to your website, or maybe you want to create an online store for your website, whatever it is, please consider checking out my channel. I've got videos on all of that stuff. So subscribe if you want to see more. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.